Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Gina once again, and today I am using a thick blank paper or cardstock. It's called Stag Blanc, and it comes in various thicknesses. People use it very often to do different types of craft projects and art projects. They make boxes out of it, they do stenciling with it. So I'm using piece today. I actually don't know how thick this one is. It's less than a millimeter, but it's very sturdy, it's nice. And I thought I had some cutoffs from when I was framing, and I thought I would use it because I mean it's nice paper, right? So I'm bordering it now. I'm using masking tape, and for these I decided to have a wider bottom border because I saw someone else doing it, and I thought this is actually really cool. Because normally I would just border all the same size, and I thought this time I would have a wider border at the bottom. So I'm doing that now. And I've never used this to say, well, you know, like I don't know what the experience is like taping on it and then pulling up the tape. So I was hoping it went well. But I started off with my China marker, and I decided because I wanted the marks to stay and I didn't want it to spread, that's why I'm using the China marker to make my initial marks, which also helps me to kind of loosen up. Today's exercise is just doing some abstract. I wanted to do, again, keep it simple, use few colors, using my color wheel again, but I wanted them to be a little different. So all of them aren't the same colors. And I'm just gonna have fun today. My plan is to do the abstract, but I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to portray. And what I figured out after starting was that I wanted to have, yes, some sharp edges, but I think more fluffier edges, to be honest. And so while I was doing this, I just tried to feather out some of those edges and, kind of blend in some while some remained, there's a clear separation. So that's what I was working on with these. I realized that I actually really like this pink, so I find that I've using it in more projects, more paintings, and it's nice. It's I think because it's so bright, I love the vibrancy of it. So I wanted to try using it a little more often. And I like how pink and green goes together. I just find it so cute. So I thought I would do green today. And really and truly, if I was really using my color wheel, exactly, it would have had some pink blues and greens on my piece, but I think I just kept it as pink and green, which I suppose is kind of similar to red and green, which goes well because I mean, you think of that for Christmas, right? So it's close enough, in my opinion, for it to work. And of course, I'm adding in some white. I'm using it to make some of those colors lighter while still keeping the same family of the color, and then having it just directly from the tube, just its rich natural tone. But I did enjoy working on these a lot. It helped me to practice blending of the different colors together, as well as it helped me to decide, certain things that I like. It helped me to remember as well certain things that I like with doing abstract art and with blending the colors. I also enjoyed layering while doing this exercise. It reminded me that it's okay to cover up, it's okay to add things over what you thought you may have liked a lot, and it makes room for more creation to happen. I'm trying now to bring back in some of those marks that I put down because for me, they went way too far in the background and I want them to be seen still, even if it's just a hint of it. So I do want to see them at the very far background, but I also want to see them layered up on top. or and in between. So it's just, it makes for a much more interesting piece rather than just do everything and then have my marks on top, or do everything and have all my marks below. So I think it's cool when you have your initial layer, then you have your middle layer, and then you have your top layer. And you could see it all throughout. Makes it more dimensional. So yes. Here now I'm trying to, I think for me this one was sometimes difficult because I had to try to balance out my colors, and sometimes they got mixed in too much. So for example, the one on the left became way too light pink, and that was not the intention. But I'm gonna leave it for a while and go to the next door and see what I can add. So if you realize too, I kind of forgot about the last one on the end. I just was just dealing with these two on the far left, which is very interesting. I don't know if it's because I had the palette on top of the last one, so it, out of sight, out of mind, even though it's right in my face. But yeah. And here I decided let's add some nice rich darkness to add some color and some layers up top of these colors. But I'm going to, of course, it was too intense for me, so I'm going to try and blend them into the page and help them become part of it instead of just slap dap on top. At this point, I decided to bring in some yellow because I don't think I use yellow much. And I thought it would be a nice opportunity to bring it in. It's a strange, odd color to add, I think, into this mix, pink and yellow. But they're kind of next to each other on the color wheel, kind of. So I felt that it could still work. And I think for this one, I really wanted it to be really nice and bright. The one in the middle with the green, it really makes me feel like Christmas. I don't know if it's just because of the colors, because I mean, there's nothing defining it to say it's Christmas, but it makes me feel really happy, just like Crystal. I think when it's closer to Christmas, I'm going to either bring it in the office on my desk or stick it up on my wall home, but I really, really like it a lot. It just, when I look at it, it makes me feel happy because I love Christmas and it makes me feel light and, it's just really a nice time. And then the place is cooler. So where I am, which is in Trinidad, it's very hot most of the time. And coming down to the end of the year, it gets a little cooler. And I love it. I feel cozy. I don't know. We have no like firelight and all of that, we don't have that. But I just feel cozy and happy. And I guess that's a testament to growing up in a home where Christmas was nice. Christmas time was also nice. But yeah, I just feel all warm and fuzzy and happy. Yeah. So I thought that I would scrape over these marks that I did, scrape over the scratches that I did, because I thought, oh my gosh, look at that. We could see, the scratches are being defined more. So I just ended up coloring even more and more black. And I was like, oh my gosh, I should stop. But it looks so nice. And I just started to just explore and I got excited. I was like, okay, you know what? This isn't looking the way I wanted to. So let's actually bring in some black paint. And that was like, look at that beauty. It was just awesome. And here now, I waited too long because the paint was practically dry before, and I ended up scratching the page itself, which is not cool, the surface of the card. And I just kind of added some paint and covered that up quickly. But I really love the effect of painting over it and you seeing those marks underneath. It's just so nice. And now I'm bringing back in some of those colors that got pushed way too far to the back. I'm bringing it forward again because I want to see all the colors. For these, I wanted to see all of the colors. So I'm just bringing them back to the front. I'm trying to push the black back a bit because it got too much. It was just too much. But when I was scratching into it with the pencil, I got really excited and I was like, oh, we have more marks here. Let's color there. Let's, wherever I saw scratches, I was like, let's color here. So that's what happened. I got too excited. And for this one now, I thought, okay, we have some yellow on the other side. We have none in the middle. So let's try and do more yellow on this one. And we'll try and do it yellow and green. So I'm just adding paint. For this one, I got very experimental and I just played a lot and I was just like, yeah, let's just add paint. And because I didn't wait for things to dry, I went in over the top of it very thickly and I did it very, very lightly so it wouldn't interfere with the layers below. So I'm just putting thicker layers to the top and you see how I'm holding it so that it does not press into the paint layers below and it just brushes the paint on the top. So it kind of gets mixed in just a little, but not like if I was, just painting normally. But this is, yeah. So I wanted to add in some brighter yellow because this yellow is nice, but it's kind of mustardy yellow. But the one that I squeezed in there is much lighter. So I thought, let's add some of that brightness because, I found that it got a bit dark and it was darker than I wanted it to be. And I really wanted it to be a nice bright green, bright yellow brightness. And it wasn't happening. So I'm just trying to add that to the top. And here, the paint was already drying. And again, this was playful, it was experimental, it was nice, and I love that I did it. I love that I took the time to really get in and try some different things. So since the paint was so thick, I thought this is a fantastic opportunity for me to get some scraping in and we could see those layers below. So I'm just taking the skewer and scraping them and I wipe between scrapes so that it doesn't transfer. And I'm trying my best to remember to dry in between. Here I'm using the Sargent gel stick, which just glides onto the card like butter. It's so yummy to use. It makes you just want to keep doing it. And this is really easy to scrape into because, as I said, it's like lipstick, but the nice buttery one. Yum. Okay. And with this card, I think it's all about the thickness and the scraping for me. And I made a mess. And I think because I scraped a little on the left card, it made me want to do it more purposefully on the right one. Like I really wanted to experiment more with it. So I was just like, yeah, I'm going to just do it so that I can scrape into it instead of, oh, let me try scraping. This one was like, yes, I'm going to paint it so that I can scrape into it because I actually want to, So I'm adding some lighter green because I'm trying to get things to pop and I want, I just wanted it nice and bright, just bright. And I'm getting some nice scrapes in. And the thing is, when you touch it after, you get some nice texture. It's subtle, but it's really nice. And then the light catches it too. So you see and feel those raised bits after you've scraped into it. It's really nice. I'm just adding some extras in to cover over some of the top. Because it's like you know what you want to see, but you're not seeing it. So you just keep adding paint in different places so that you can see a little of what your mind is seeing. Because it hasn't appeared yet onto the paper, So that's what's happening. and it's nice. I think one of the harder things for me doing these was knowing when to stop, because the one in the middle I kind of paused to to see if I would want to come back to it, because I wasn't sure. And then, okay, for this I'm bringing in some dark areas because I just love dark areas for some reason, and I just felt like it was missing something. It just felt very blah, and everything was just kind of the same. So I'm bringing in some darkness, and I was just trying to figure out how to fit it in and how to incorporate it successfully into the card so that it looks like it's still part of the card. So to do that, I'm using the fine liner bottle to just add some color over it so it becomes part of it, and it mixes together instead of it just resting on top. And again, I'm using the skewer stick just to add the scrape and just continue it so it looks like it is actually part and one whole piece. So for me, it was about making everything similar, having similar marks, having similar colors, and I think I got through it pretty okay. And I didn't want to interfere with it too much, so I decided I would just leave it like that, as it is. And that's cool. I like it very much. I couldn't wait to take off the tape to see how it looked. Seeing those sharp edges and then that white space. I did take off some of the card along with it, but it wasn't too bad. And these are my pieces. Let me know which one you like more or most. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. I love this one so much. I actually like all, but that one, yeah. It looks like a landscape.